Hi everyone, hope you're doing great out there. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Debbie. Today on my channel, we're going to be making an apple pie bread. It's getting fall time and usually the apples are really nice and plentiful at this time of year around where I live. So we're going to be making an apple pie bread, and maybe I'll be making more apple things or even some pumpkin things coming into this fall season. So I hope you stick around for that. And if you are new here, why don't you hit that subscribe button and give me a like and hit the bell icon so you're notified of all the videos that I upload. All right, let's get into our apple pie bread. Okay, so this is a new recipe to me. I got it from offline on Recipe Saver. So the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 350. And then it's asking for 4x8 loaf pans. Mine aren't they're oval shaped. So I don't think I may have to use two of them. So I have two of them lightly dusted, but I usually don't have to put anything in these. I got them off Amazon. Everything just slips right out of them. So we'll see if I have to put two in there. Nothing wrong with having two loaves of apple pie bread, right? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do in a small bowl is add some cinnamon and brown sugar together. So the cinnamon is going to be half a tablespoon. Yesterday, the cold air came in where I live. It was about 95, 97 the last few days. And then yesterday afternoon, I was wearing shorts and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I'm kind of chilly. And I hadn't been outside. My husband was like, well, the cold air is moving in. And I was like, oh. By that evening, just a couple hours later, it was like 66 here. So it dropped pretty fast. But I'm ready for some fall weather. I did a little fall decorating yesterday to my house. And we all know what comes after fall. Christmas, which I love. Okay, so we got a half a tablespoon in here. And then we're going to add a third of a cup of brown sugar. I'm going to mix that together and set that aside. It smells really good. So that's what that looks like. We got that good and mixed. The next step we're going to do is, in a bowl, add some granulated sugar and another third a cup of brown sugar. We're going to use this bowl. So we're going to do a third a cup of white sugar, granulated sugar, whatever you want to call it. And a third a cup of brown sugar. And then we're going to be adding some butter. We're going to cream those together, as it says. Mix those together. And the butter is a fourth of a cup, softened. As you can see, I've got it pretty softened. Melted a little bit. I don't know about you, but I kind of like to bake when it's cooler outside. I really enjoy it more. It's just something that makes you feel warm and cozy, maybe because it heats your house up. And you don't want to do that in the summertime when it's 95 degrees out, right? Okay. So we're going to beat in our granulated sugar and the brown sugar and our butter. Plug this in. It said beat until fluffy. Their wording, I mean, I don't know. When people use that wording, cream together or beat till fluffy, I don't know. It just, I guess that's fluffy. It's beat together. That's all I know. So then to that, we're going to be adding our applesauce, and it calls for 1/4 cup. I just have these little applesauce cups that I keep in the fridge for my grandkids when they're here. And I'm going to estimate that that's probably about 1/4 cup. Let's just measure to make sure it's actually probably 1/3 cup now that I look at it. So, and it says 1/4, right? Where did we go? Yeah, there's a probably tablespoon left over. I don't know if it would hurt to add it, but I don't want it to make the bread too wet. So I think I'll just have that with my morning coffee. Haven't even had my morning coffee yet. Just got up and started making my video. Hang on. Got to get my little scarfie out here. Got some nasties on my hand. My sister gave me this for my birthday. Hers is coming up this month. Okay, so we have our applesauce. We have 2 eggs slightly beaten. Beat them a little more. We're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Love it. Love it. We're going to mix that well. Scrape my sides down. And then it says in a medium bowl, we're going to mix our flour and our baking powder. But you know what? I think I'm just going to live dangerously. I'm not going to dirty up another bowl. Let's just add it right in here. So we need 1.5 cups of flour. Sometimes you really need to follow the directions to a T, and other times I think it'll work out if you kind of fudge on a little thing. Okay, and 1/2 cup, and I don't seem to have a 1/2 measuring cup over here. I got 1/3, 1/4 cup. So this is the one I usually keep in my flour, which is 1/4. So we're going to use this. So, yep, I need a 1/2. So I got to put 2 of these babies in. There we go. And then our baking powder is 2 teaspoons. Shake all that good vanilla in there. So I'm going to be using the other end of this one. So 2 teaspoons. Kind of shake it around. Just going to mix it on the top of the flour so it's a little bit incorporated that way. But I think it's okay if you just add that right in there. And then we're going to, well, actually, let's just stir this. I think we're just going to stir this to combine it, okay? I'm always afraid I'm going to make a big flour fluff, flour cloud, flour bomb, whatever you want to call it. We're going to add a little milk to this. I think we have it stirred in pretty good. Okay, then we're going to add 1/3 cup of milk. And you probably could just add the milk with the flour mixture. Stir it all in together so you don't overmix. So I probably should have done that, but I think this will be okay. We'll see. So we just want to incorporate that milk. That's kind of what it looks like. A runny batter. That's what you need. I think I got it all good. Okay. Let me put my milk up. Okay, it's asking for half the batter to be put into the loaf pan. Now, do I attempt all of that batter in here? I don't think so. I think I'm only going to do, two. These pans are small. So we're going to have 2 small loaves, and that's fine. So there's a little drip or 2 of milk in there. So let's do 1/3 cup in this bottom of this pan. 1/3 cup in the bottom of this pan. I'm just trying to measure out to get it even before we go any further. We'll put a little bit extra, a little bit more than 1/3. But if you're using a 4x8 like it says, you put half the batter in the bottom. So I'm going to spread that out a little bit to get it covering my bottom. And then we're going to take 1 large cut up apple. I diced 1 apple earlier. And we're going to sprinkle some of those in here. Now this probably will have a little crunch in the bread, in the loaf. I don't think it's going to take that whole apple, but it was pretty large. And then we're going to sprinkle, just going to use my tablespoon, the cinnamon and brown sugar mixture. We're going to sprinkle that down over the top. It's going to taste like an apple pie, right? I do want to make sure I have enough apples in there. It's an apple pie bread. You want to taste apples, right? In every bite. You don't want to get a piece of apple pie at a bakery or a restaurant and bite into it and all you get is the gooey stuff. Although that'd be pretty good too. I'm all about the goo in a pie. Okay, I just glanced at my directions. It actually says put the remaining apples in the leftover batter now. And this mixture. I'll put a little bit more down in here. And stir that and combine that batter. Add a little bit more apples. Okay, once you get all that combined, then we're going to pour the rest on the top of what we have in the pan. Take another measuring spoon or measuring cup, and I'm going to shake it over the top. Try to get that leveled out there. I'm gonna get me a spoon. Just spread that out evenly down in there. Cover the bottom layer. And I think we're ready to rock and roll. Pop these in the oven. Now it does say they got to bake 40 minutes. I'm not sure if, since these are do like that to settle them. I'm not baking a 40 minutes, so I'll just have to watch these. But if you're using a 4x8 pan, it will be 40 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna get these in the oven, and we'll be back when the timer goes off. Okay, they just came out of the oven, and they didn't rise as much as the pan, but I think if I would have put them into one pan, I definitely think it would have been way too much for my pan. But they really smell good. So I'm gonna let them cool just a bit. And you do need to flour, grease and flour, lightly flour all sides of your pan, I would say. Mine just did a little bit right there. Otherwise, it really came out pretty clean. But that little guy tore a little bit, but he's okay. It'll taste great. Okay, I got my coffee. First sip of the morning. Okay. I've cut the bread, the apple pie loaf, and I wanted to show you. Got a couple pictures, but can you see in there the apples, cinnamon? So let's try a bite. Mmm. Mm-hmm. It really does taste like apple pie. I'm not kidding you. And the apples, just the slightest crunch to them, perfectly cooked to me. And I did dice them, but you can leave them as big a chunks as you would like. They're delicious. It's all delicious. Mm-hmm. Really good. Definitely. Excuse me for talking with my mouth full. Definitely will definitely be making this again. I'm probably making it for friends and family. Now, I will say that because I had the smaller pan, I did only bake this. It was ended up being like 33, 34 minutes. I kept adding another minute and I'd test it. It'd come up to be like 34 minutes. But if you have the regular size pan, it says 40. But I'll put the recipe in the description box below. So hope you try this, and I hope you really enjoy it like I do. Until next time, please take care of yourself and each other. Bye. Mm-hmm.